Today is Monday, June 15th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're here, guys. This is the last chapter of the Big Book. We're beginning the first part of that page 151 of Chapter 11, A Vision for You. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 9. We'll read page 173. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. Man, I can't believe it. We are on the last chapter again, circling back to the end of both books. Goes by fast. So if you know anybody, and that's not the end of the show, I promise. But if you know of anybody that could benefit from this podcast, we will be starting with probably the forwards again by the beginning of July 1st, Lord willing, going on one day at a time, right? And the same thing with the 12 and 12. Although I've not heard any objections, I am going to change up the other recovery readings because we've read every single page of the recovery readings now. So I was going to do Courage to Change from Al-Anon, the NA Recovery Companion called Just for Today. So yeah, I'm really excited to start something new. I've not read a lot of either of those books. So yeah, I guess the point I'm trying to make is by July 1st, we're starting all over again and with some new material. And I'm going to go ahead and warn you ahead of time. There's probably going to be a new song as well. It's not going to be 80s mellow, although I really did think about it. It's going to be another acoustic track that I really like. And I figure, you know what? It's just a way to change things up a little bit because life is always changing. And I don't know, it helps me too. So with that long-winded preamble out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends, so we are on the last chapter of the Big Book, at least out of the core text. So we're on Chapter 11, A Vision for You. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so we'll just read the first paragraph today and we'll finish the page tomorrow. Chapter 11, A Vision for You. For most normal folks, drinking means conviviality, companionship, and colorful imagination. It means release from care, boredom, and worry. It is joyous intimacy with friends and a feeling that life is good. But not so with us in those last days of heavy drinking. The old pleasures were gone. They were but memories. Never could we recapture the great moments of the past. There was an insistent yearning to enjoy life as we once did, and a heartbreaking obsession that some new miracle of control would enable us to do it. There was always one more attempt and one more failure. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 9. AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. So we left off on an interesting part here where it says, therefore, every nation, in fact, every form of society, has to be governed and administered by human beings. Power to direct or govern is the essence of organization everywhere. However, it's a little bit different with AA. So we are on page 173. Yet Alcoholics Anonymous is an exception. It does not conform to this pattern. Neither its General Service Conference, its Foundation Board, nor the Humblest Group Committee can issue a single directive to an AA member and make it stick, let alone mete out any punishment. We've tried it lots of times, but utter failure is always the result. Groups have tried to expel members, but the banished have come back to sit in the meeting place saying, "This is life for us. You can't keep us out." Committees have instructed many in AA to stop working on a chronic backslider, only to be told, "How I do my 12th step work is my business. Who are you to judge?" This doesn't mean that AA won't take advice or suggestions from more experienced members, but he surely won't take orders. Who is more unpopular than the old-time AA, full of wisdom, who moves to another area and tries to tell the group how to run their business. He and all like him, who view with alarm for the good of AA, meet the most stubborn resistance, or worse still, laughter. You might think AA's headquarters in New York would be an exception. Surely the people there would have to have some authority. But long ago, trustees and staff members alike found they could do no more than make suggestions, and very mild ones at that. They even had to coin a couple of sentences which still go into half the letters they write. Of course, you are at perfect liberty to handle this matter any way you please. But the majority experience in AA does seem to suggest. Now that attitude is far removed from central government, isn't it? We recognize that alcoholics can't be dictated to, individually or collectively. "24 hours a day, June 15th. AA thought for the day. In AA, we have three things: fellowship, faith, and service. Fellowship is wonderful, but its wonder lasts just so long. Then some gossip, disillusionment, and boredom may come in. Worry and fear come back at times, and we find that the fellowship is not the whole story. Then we need faith. When we are alone, with nobody to pat us on the back, we must turn to God for help. Can I say, 'Thy will be done,' and mean it?" Meditation for the day. There is beauty in a God-guided life. There is wonder in the feeling of being led by God. Try to realize God's bounty and goodness more and more. God is planning for you. Wonderful are His ways. They are beyond your knowledge. But God's leading will enter your consciousness more and more and bring you ever more and more peace and joy. Your life is being planned and blessed by God. You may count all material things as loss if they prevent your winning your way to the consciousness of God's guidance. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may earn the rewards of God's power and peace. I pray that I may develop the feeling of being led by God. Daily Reflection, June 15th. Making AA your higher power. You can make AA itself your higher power. Here's a very large group of people who have solved their alcohol problem. Many members have crossed the threshold just this way. Their faith broadened and deepened, transformed. They came to believe in a higher power. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, pages 27 and 28. No one was greater than I, at least in my eyes when I was drinking. Nevertheless, I couldn't smile at myself in the mirror. So I came to AA where, with others, I heard talk of a higher power. I couldn't accept the concept of a higher power because I believed God was cruel and unloving. In desperation, I chose a table, a tree, and then my AA group as my higher power. Time passed, my life improved, and I began to wonder about this higher power. Gradually, with patience, humility, and a lot of questions, I came to believe in God. Now, my relationship with my higher power gives me the strength to live a happy, sober life. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. It's some beautiful stuff, man. So I love in the big book, just the very first chapter, man. This was me. And I wrote down the word wow beside this paragraph. Who knows how long ago it was, but it still hits me hard. Right here it says, never could we recapture the great moments of the past. There was an insistent yearning to enjoy life as we once did. That was me. I'm a nostalgic guy anyway. anything from the 80s and early 90s, anything from my childhood and even slightly before my childhood. I just love it, right? And it takes me right back to the innocent days. I love it. Well, I used to get nostalgic about the drink as well. Oh, I miss how drinking used to be. Oh, I miss watching hockey and having a drink and pairing it with all these things, right? There were times where it was fun. And my brain, as messed up as it can be sometimes, will still romanticize. Oh, it wasn't all bad, Rob. Come on, man. You've been sober X amount of time long. You're fine. Take a drink. It'll be fun. Come on. Don't you want to drink and watch this hockey game? It's going to make it better. My brain will still try to whisper those things, right? But that's when I fall back on my training. I fall back on all the confirmation that this big book talks about. And also what my sponsors told me to always remember. I don't have to look back on my past with shame and guilt and remorse anymore, or beat myself up anymore. But I do want to remember. My sponsor always told me to remember. So when I want to romance a drink, all I gotta do is think of my wife in the kitchen, looking at me as I'm promising her I'm gonna change. And knowing from that look, you guys ever get the look? Where you know your partner doesn't believe you, or, well, I got the look. And the pain that she felt. I just need to think of that. And that usually dispels the storm cloud of temptation, right? Or obsession. And that's what it talks about here. There was an insistent yearning to enjoy life as we once did, and a heartbreaking obsession that some new miracle of control would enable us to do it. Now, I did that. Oh, this time I can moderate, or this time won't be as bad. There was always one more attempt, and as it says here, and one more failure. So true. And then talking about the daily reflection real fast. Now, I'm a Christian, but even then, like when I came into the rooms, I had to kind of rewire my own kind of biases towards a higher power. And I've seen folks come into the rooms, where I used to kind of subconsciously believe in I know what you did last summer kind of God that's going to get me if I'm not a perfect human being, that'll leave me. I had to kind of change my own conception. I know of some people from many religious backgrounds, many different religious backgrounds that go to AA, and some that are not religious at all. The wonderful thing about AA is it's a spiritual program. And as the big book says, it's all-inclusive, never exclusive. But I just love that it's a broad highway where everybody from every religious or non-religious background has a seat at the table here of recovery. And I love how the person who wrote in the Daily Reflection talks about their progress spiritually, in desperation, there's that gift of desperation. I chose a table, a tree, then my AA group as my higher power. And then by the very end, gradually, with patience, humility, and a lot of questions. So this came over time. I came to believe in God. So we see how this person's changed over time. And that's the beautiful thing about sobriety. We change over time. By doing these steps, wash, rinse, and repeat over and over again, we gain so many things. And we change over time, and hopefully for the better. But, I don't know, that's beautiful stuff. But my friends, that's all we have time for today. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery. Honored to be here today. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.